Okay, so the next reaction we're going to talk about is substitution reactions. They don't differ too much from an addition reaction, however it's important that you can tell the difference between them. So in a substitution reaction, an atom or a group of atoms replaces another by breaking a CH bond. The reactant, in this case, is going to be one alkane. Before it was an alkene or an alkyne. In substitution, it's always an alkane. Your product then, as before, will be a substituted hydrocarbon, but this time there will also be a byproduct, and there will always be a byproduct in substitution reactions. So if you were presented with a reaction and it has a byproduct, you can make the assumption, you can check that it started with an alkane, it's going to be a substitution reaction. So I'm going to do a few examples. So this time we've got ethane we're starting with, and I'm going to add bromine. As with before, I'm drawing it like this so I can see the bond. Now, there's no double bond to break or anything here, so we simply have to substitute our bromine onto our ethane molecule. We can only add one at a time, however. Eventually, you could have this have completely bromine around it, replacing all the hydrogens, but each time we do it, we're only going to add one at a time. So, we still have the same amount of carbons. We're going to add one bromine. Now, we've added our bromine here where there was originally a hydrogen. This hydrogen has to go somewhere. Remember when we talked about addition reactions? We didn't have to put anything anywhere else to form a byproduct because all we did was broke a bond. In this case, a hydrogen, as well as our other bromine that wasn't used, form our byproduct. Now, I'm going to do one that already has a functional group on it. So here we have bromomethane, and we're adding potassium hydroxide. Now in this case, we've already got a halogen sitting on here. How are you going to know? Well, first of all, are we adding the potassium or the hydroxide? Secondly, where do I add it? Do I get rid of this bromine, and do I add it where one of these hydrogens are? So the rules for this is if a functional group already exists, then you will replace that before the hydrogen group. So I'll just write that here. And then regarding this part, the second part of our molecule is always added first. That's purposefully why I did this bromine in the first example. Is this hydroxide is going to replace this bromine. So I'll just write that in a note, that the second part is added first. So, in this case, we still have the same amount of carbons, except we said our hydroxide is going to replace our bromine, just like that, and our hydrogens proceed. So now we still have a byproduct, of course. So what did our hydroxide replace? It was a bromine. And what did we have left over that we haven't yet added? Potassium. So potassium bromide will be the byproduct. So you just have to remember that everything that was originally here must be included over here.